Hey everyone, welcome back to their hardware news recap for the week. This is the first hardware news episode for the year. It's our best news episode this year. Sorry, we're probably going to do two of them, and they'll probably be back to back. There's a lot of news this week. So this one, we'll be talking about the final round of 50 series and RDNA rumors as NVIDIA and AMD gear up for their announcements next week. Next week is CES, which is one of the largest two trade shows of the year. Computex is the biggest and most relevant one. CES is a mobile phone case and other random accessory bullshit show with some computer hardware attached to it. So we'll be covering some of that stuff as well. There's a lot of hardware news there. It's just it's not as good as it used to be. It's a lot of, if you ever go to CES and you walk around the halls, you're going to see lots of phone cases and iPhone accessories. But anyway, we'll be talking about those rumors. There's a OneXPlayer G1 handheld, sort of. It's a laptop handheld thing. And Facebook has a dead platform that it's going to breathe some life into by introducing lots of first-party bots. That's good. Half-Life has maybe a teaser or at least some half acknowledgement of Half-Life on Twitter. And we'll also be talking about how some law firms have contacted us where they are investigating a class action against NZXT. So let's get into it. Before that, this video is brought to you by Lian Li and the O11D Evo RGB case. The O11D Evo RGB is an updated entry to the famed O11 lineup, retaining heavy support for fan mounts, drive mount locations, and flexibility on component mounting, such as two options for the power supply. The O11D Evo RGB's dual chamber approach aims to maximize cable storage on the backside to streamline cable management, coupling this with a unique vertical GPU mount to showcase the most expensive part in most systems. Learn more at the link in the description below. All right, so first up, 2024 was one hell of a year. There's actually a lot going on last year. There were some pretty cool hardware launches. We talked about those in the disappointment build intro. Well, after the intro when we did the start of the bulk of the video. And it was a good reminder that, yes, lots of good and cool things happened last year for computer hardware. But of course, there's also lots of disappointments. And so that was what that video was for. It was a lot of fun. We do those annually and love working on them. So I just wanted to thank everyone for watching it and for picking up the shirts if you bought one on the store, on store.gamersnexus.net. And also a thank you to Andrew and Vitaly on the team for working on it. So Vitaly handled sort of the back half bulk of the content of the disappointment build, and Andrew handled most of the intro, and they both came together awesome. So if you saw it, the intro has some 3D animations in it. We'll show some of them now while I'm talking, and Andrew put those together. It was a lot of fun to work on. So anyway, thanks for watching it. If you haven't seen it, that is our annual recap. If you want to know what happened in 2024, I was going to say the bad things, but it's got some good things in there too, then check out that video. And of course, we have 3 roundups for the best parts of last year if you want just the positive stuff. But anyway, if you want to help us with our investigations and our product testing going into 2025 and our independent reviews, you can head over to the store and grab one of the Disappointment Tour shirts. It has all the dates on the back. It's the shirt I'm wearing as well. I mean, it's not literally the shirt I'm wearing. That would be kind of gross. And if you don't think that'd be gross, then go somewhere else. But anyway, the shirt is on the store. They've been selling like crazy already. So if you want one, head over to store.gamersnexus.net and grab one. The front features a cool green color that we haven't used on shirts before, I don't think. It also includes a new design approach for us where we have a dithered dot pattern toward the bottom of the front to give a gradient effect, even though we're using a water-based discharge ink where it's kind of like a silk screening process. Looks really cool with that dithered approach. And then the green is an oxidation waterfall of rust and failure stemming from an Intel CPU in the top of an FE Shroud hourglass that's been rusted through. That plays as a continuation on a previous design we did in the series. The overgrowth that Andrew did in this design is really cool too. It looks great. The back of the shirt features the sort of tour dates for the year, featuring Asus, NZXT, EK, Intel, and Intel, and Intel. And then these shirts are available in a 100% cotton or a highly breathable tri-blend material. We're only doing 2 to 3 waves of shipping these, and we'll eventually introduce a front-only design like we always do, or one with a different back. But if you want the dates on the back, grab one on the store soon since they're selling fast and we're not going to sell them forever. just because there's a year on it. And this will directly help fund our operation in 2025 as we continue to reduce the percentage of our total revenue that third-party advertising makes up. This has been a meaningful and pointed change we've been slowly working towards for years. It's very hard to decouple from ads, the topic for another time in this industry, but we've been working on reducing the amount as much as possible. That is because of the store and Patreon as always, and that's, I mean, it's basically just trying to distance ourselves from the companies as much as possible. But anyway, let's move on to, speaking of distancing ourselves from companies, NZXT. We've become aware of multiple law firms investigating a possible class action against NZXT in relation to its Flex program and or its pre-built PCs in general. Some of the law firms have contacted Gamers Nexus to ask us if any of the viewers who've emailed us want to be a plaintiff in a case against NZXT relating to all of the materials that have been in discussion lately. I think they're looking specifically for people in the state of California, although it'd be a class, so theoretically anyone would be part of it if it goes forward. But anyway, I don't know how that's going to progress, but we've continued to receive complaints from viewers about the Flex program. We've seen several posts on Reddit in the last couple weeks alone, where one just the other day was someone complaining about a component being different from what they ordered when they received the system. And that was like the whole point of what we were talking about in the video, was if you change the parts, it's not really clear to people what they're gonna get, and you can go on camera and write your blog posts and whatever as much as you want about how, oh, we always tell people about the changes. At the end of the day, if the spec is changing, it's a problem. That's kind of what we were talking about, and now there's complaints on Reddit about how they're getting what they think at least are the wrong components from what they ordered, possibly because of that. But anyway, if you've had any issues with NZXT or its Flex solution, or specifically if you've rented anything from Flex powered by Fragile, so that would include things, by the way, like vacuum cleaners. You can do a monthly rental on those apparently. We're still investigating all that. We're still taking tips. You can email us at tips, T-I-P-S, at gamersnexus.net. We'll take a look at it. If you're a customer and you feel misled or like they've screwed you in some way, then send that over. Or if you're just an insider and you want to give us more information, we have a lot of insiders already, employees and otherwise, who've informed us of a lot of things that are going on over there. In the meantime, we just noticed that Fragile and NZXT have terminated our rental agreement for the computer that we have. So we had previously asked them to cancel as part of the test when we were testing the rental, and that was when it returned that 404 page because they sent you into oblivion if you tried to cancel it, apparently. It was weird. They like send you a link and say, cancel it yourself at this link. It's kind of like, hey, go yourself. Like, we're not going to cancel it for you. But anyway, we never did follow the steps for that because after it returned the 404, I was like, we'll hang on to it. Seems useful for continued investigation. And they've canceled it for us. So, kind of interested. I had just noticed that. They sent us an email confirming the cancellation of the rental after I had previously decided to not cancel it following their steps, which is interesting because it maybe raises another concern, which is, I mean, there's reasons, I guess, they don't want us to have one, and that's interesting on its own, but it also becomes unclear what happens if the company decides they want to cancel the program and like, what, you just don't have a computer now or what? So anyway, fortunately we finished Disappointment PC, so we're gonna send it back now, and we've gotten other ones through other means anyway, so we'll continue the series. All right, so the news was class action firms have been looking into maybe doing something with NZXT, but we don't know how that's gonna progress. First up for the rumors this week. So NVIDIA's got a CES keynote fast approaching, and we are expecting CEO Jensen Huang to present the RTX 50 series GPUs, which will be a mix of gaming cards and probably some sort of like professional, prosumer, AI targeted type of high-end cards. We'll have official information soon. And so because of that, we're just going to roll up everything that exists right now into this section. It'll be fun to look back and see what was accurate and kind of maybe we can get some better information on which leakers to rely on in the future. And otherwise, the faucet of information gets leakier as the launch date approaches. There might be more new leaks before this video goes up. And if that's true, we'll just wait until the news is out and we'll report all that to you all soon enough. Let's get into it. So with the most concrete leak being pictures of cards and boxes. We'll start there. Prices are typically not finalized until sometimes hours before Jensen Huang gets on stage. This is something that we have witnessed firsthand, so those probably won't be locked in until closer to the show. But there are photos of an MSI RTX 5080 gaming trio box posted on the Chip Hell forums, taken down since, but preserved by video cards. The card looks to be somewhere between 2 and 3 slots thick with 3 fans. The photo of the rear of the box is low resolution, but we can make out some important information. The bottom right, for example, confirms the 5080 will have 16 gigabytes of GDDR7 on a 256-bit bus. Interesting for its absence is any mention of a new driver or software feature to accompany the 50 series. Now, this box might not be 100% final, so it's part of it. Other rumors have previously indicated software features and changes. The next one is technically official, but extremely vague. NVIDIA, as part of its GeForce LAN 50 community hype event, launched a video outlining some awards. At the 30-second mark, the video shows the silhouette of a PC. Video cards adjusted the image to make the interior visible, revealing an as-yet unseen GPU design. Wait! Zoom! Enhance! You can see it in the pixels. What does it mean? Well, anyway, it appears to be a 2-slot design with grooves along the edge. There are 2 fans on the front side, an angled power cable, and an illuminated logo and light strip on the front. For commentary, first off, this could be a placeholder render, similar to what NVIDIA's done in the past, and that would just be funny because then everyone's gone through all these hoops and boosted the contrast and zoomed and enhanced for nothing. That would be the ultimate troll from NVIDIA. Or maybe it's a 70-class card that ditches the rear fan of the 4070. Or it's the mythical 2-slot 5090 FE that Copite7Kimmy insists will exist. Or it's nothing and doesn't matter at all, and we'll find out the actual news in like 3 or 4 days. Probably that one. But maybe it's something, and if it is, then now you've seen it too. Isn't that useful? Next up, in the self-awareness hour at GN, Asus name leaks. Hardware leaker Momomo_US tweeted the alleged names of some upcoming GPUs from NVIDIA and AMD. There's the Asus ROG Astral RTX 5080 016G Gaming and the Prime RTX 5080 016G Gaming. Now, Astral appears to be a new branding initiative for Asus, and frankly speaking, we think they should have preserved it for Intel. Intel has claim to the D&D style names. Alchemist, Celestial, Druid, Sparkle's got Orcs and Titans and Elves, and Astral would have fit in. You've got the Duerden family with Guinevere, and the Astral Plane, and summoning from the Astral Plane, and Asus's warranties from the Astral Plane. It just would have made sense for ARC, and we're just let down that they didn't use it for that. Video cards captured a snapshot of the branding and Google search results before it was wiped out. Prime, on the other hand, has commonly been associated with Asus motherboards and is not to be confused with the bottled poison that you can buy at gas stations. Not the kind that's in the pumps, although both the Astral and Prime have O16G at the end of their names, corroborating that the 5080 will have 16 gigabytes of VRAM based on all these rumors so far, but find out in a few days. The O sometimes for Asus means overclocked or OC. Finally, a now deleted tweet from HKEPC Media claimed a launch date of January 21st for the 5080. The claimed launch date would fit into the general time frame we'd expect. Plus, it's a Tuesday, which is typically launch day. All right, while we're on the rumor train going to the rumor station, I guess, I don't know. Momomo_US also tweeted the names of some upcoming AMD GPU SKUs, and those include the TUF RX 9070 XT O16G Gaming and the Prime RX 9070 XT with also a Prime RX 9070, not XT, but still O16G. Now this switch corroborates multiple reports of a 90 series naming for AMD switching from the 7000 series, 7900, so forth, to the 90X0 series, and it sounds more like NVIDIA's naming convention. So while NVIDIA is just now gearing up for the 5070, AMD is already 4 generations ahead. The 9070 is like 78.9% better than the 5070 in name alone. And that's before we even get to the difference in X's. AMD's X count is way higher than NVIDIA's, and its XTX GPUs have a higher X count than the incoming X class NVIDIA GPUs. And it's almost like there's like a transitive mathematical property here where you have, all right, so stay with me here. You have RTX, and then you've got RX. But it's RX some number, and then XT or XTX. So if you have the RX 9070 XT, through some form of transitive property, someone who's good at calculus in the comments can run these numbers for us, you could probably take that XTX, like the X of the XT, not the XTX naming, but the X of the XT, you could take that X and move it over to multiply it by the RX to get an RTX. And now you have an RTX 5070 and an RTX 9070X. Sorry, RTX 9070T. I screwed that all up at the end. You get what I'm saying. The point is, AMD number bigger and AMD X more, therefore AMD better. Anyway, according to Momo_US, Asus's AMD cards also carry that 016G tag, suggesting that these are 16GB cards. Though benchlife.info reports that the 9070s are rumored to use GDDR6 at 20 gigabits per second instead of the GDDR7 memory that's been tied to the 5080 in rumors. Benchlife also reports that AMD's upcoming 9070 XT and 9070 will launch at the end of January. In addition, the outlet notes that the 9070 XT will have a TBP, or total board power, that may exceed 300 watts, pointing to leaker John Hao, who stated that its TBP has reached as high as 330 watts. Benchlife.info also reports that AMD won't mandate 12-volt high-power connectors for its GPUs, and wrote, which has been machine translated, quote, most AIB partners will maintain the traditional PCIe 8-pin design. All right, off the rumors and on to some news. So handheld and laptop maker OneXPlayer has released some information about its new OneXPlayer G1 laptop we're going to go with that converts into sort of a handheld. And actually, Wendell brought one of these over once. I think it was from Minis Forum, though, but similar in concept in some ways. Might have been OneXPlayer. Either way, this one features a magnetic detachable keyboard. Removing the keyboard reveals the handheld controller-style features, including 2 analog sticks highlighted with RGB lighting, standard controller face button inputs, a traditional D-pad, 2 bumpers in both the left and right corners of the input board, and a mini keyboard. The device uses an AMD Ryzen AI 9HX370 processor, which is a name, and it has a 144 hertz, they call it 2.5K display, which is not a conventional name for a resolution, but okay. And it includes ports for Oculink, USB 4, and has USB Type-A ports. Notebookcheck.net had some additional specs, noting that this device will include a 14,283 mAh battery, LPDDR5X 7500 RAM, and Bluetooth 5.2 Wi-Fi 6E connectivity, again per Notebook Check. The 8.8-inch display is on the larger end of a handheld gaming screen, similar to the Legion Go more than anything else. For comparison, the original Nintendo Switch has a 6.2-inch display, and the Asus ROG Ally and MSI Claw originals both list 7-inch displays. This OneXPlayer device, however, tries to be an ultra-portable laptop, so the larger screen tries to balance between 2 device types. OneXPlayer currently sells some 3-in-1 gaming handhelds that can convert to either a handheld, a laptop, or a tablet. But this seems to be the first one, at least, that we've seen with a detachable keyboard in this exact styling. We're not super familiar with OneXPlayer, but looking around the site, it looked like this one's got some new approaches to it. So we're interested to see how it turns out. At the time of writing this, OneXPlayer doesn't have an MSRP listed, and this handheld convertible is not currently available. The campaign advertises a discount if you sign up for updates, but there's no further news at this time. Up next, we heard you like dystopia, so we brought you some. According to Financial Times, Meta, i.e. Facebook, intends to unleash AI users across its social media platforms. This might include Instagram as well. And we're assuming that this is to compete with the bots that have already been unleashed across its platforms. So, Meta Vice President of Products for Generative AI, Connor Hayes, told the Financial Times this, quote, "We expect these AIs to actually, over time, exist on our platforms, kind of in the same way that accounts do." Hayes continued and said they'll have BIOS. It's BIOS. Bio, like plural of bio. I talk about computers too much. Let's try that again. Hayes continued, as I said, they'll have bios and profile pictures and be able to generate and share content powered by AI on the platform. That's where we see all of this going. End quote. Now, we see where all of this is going.
What is my purpose?
You pass butter.
Oh my god.
It is opaquely dystopian in the truest possible ways to have this news coming from the Meta VP. Like George Orwell and Ray Bradbury would have had a field day with this. So Fahrenheit 451 would be much, much different. Anyway, the fact that someone who works at Meta can say these words, basically, we're going to have AI and it's going to share AI-generated content and not trigger someone asking, wait, what is it we're doing again? Like, what's our product? Because at this point, it's bots talking to bots, and somehow this is a sustainable business until I guess the advertisers figure it out. I don't know. And it's actually something I've been thinking about a lot lately. So here's the mini rant. Scrolling through YouTube comments is part of my job. And one of the more depressing things about it lately has been, as I'm scrolling, the bots have gotten a lot better. And so there's still like some of the really obvious ones where they, for whatever reason, I'll use the same profile picture for like a week and post the same types of posts, and it's not flagged by YouTube, presumably because that would hurt their engagement numbers that they report to shareholders, so they don't ban all the bots instantaneously. But anyway, you scroll through them, and some of them are pretty damn good now, and every now and then I'll see someone interact with a bot, and I go and ban the bot, but part of what's sad about that is you just become acutely aware of this, like, if you think too much about it, you can end up wondering, am I the only human in the room? And although we are not there yet, I do think that is a possibility in the future, at least for some of these more isolated, like, you don't have a ton of friends on your friends list on Facebook who are active. And so Facebook gives you some AI friends with some AI content, and you start interacting with them. And that is very lonely and very depressing. And again, if you think too much about it, it is a sad future that we're spiraling toward if it goes that way with the bots. I mean, it's one thing for it to be bots that try to scam you. At least there's a human at the end of that. You know, it's like you have a bot interaction and then they rip you off. That's going to a person. This is just like large corporations using AI to keep you glued to the site with no outcome at the end that's useful to you. I guess the point is it's kind of hard for me to verbalize my thoughts on this. Maybe we'll do a video one day, but just thinking through it, the more these AI and bot type comments become prevalent, first of all, the less impetus there will be to interact with comments for people who understand what's happening. And secondly, it will become increasingly isolating and increasingly lonely, where if you trip past that barrier to reality, that reality distortion field that you kind of keep in front of yourself interacting on the internet, you go past it and just like instantly you realize all of it's a lie. Everything in here, I don't know if these are real or if I'm the only human on this page. And so anyway, that's where you check back next time for Steve's Not That Deep Thoughts about our dystopian future. That's what we'll call the segment. Anyway, back to the story. The Financial Times wrote, quote, Meta is betting that characters generated by artificial intelligence will fill its social media platforms in the next few years. This is so stupid. I can't believe I'm reading this. As it looks to the fast-developing technology to drive engagement with its 3 billion users. Why stop at 3 billion users? If you're going to make up users anyway, why not 30 billion? We have 300 billion users. This quarter, we have 3 trillion users. In quarter 5 of 2011, we ended up with 3 quintillion users posting 3 hectillion posts, which is 1 million to the 100 trillion. Just keep making more. Next quarter, we expect our 1 hectillion users to like 1 novanadagentillion posts. And yes, that is a real number, and no, I do not know how to pronounce it. I've never heard it used before. On the positive side, AI Jensen Huang and AI Lisa Su liked that.
But today, it's all about AI.
With that kind of performance, I'm going to hire AI next time. AI.
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 AI. AI.
artificial intelligence.
AI computer. AI's AI. AI. AI.
AI, AI,
AI. AI. AI.
AI, 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 AI. Bring AI to Japan. AI revolution.
Anyway, Zuckerberg, who may or may not be AI, has previously stated Facebook was all about connecting users together, having stated, quote, "It was built to accomplish a social mission to make the world more open and connected."
We're making the world a better place through Paxos algorithms for consensus protocols.
The mission's still alive and well if you consider the possibility of making connections with AI.
Hey, I was thinking, I might watch a movie.
I am not programmed for friendship.
And in the time since all of this, Meta has turned back around to try and quickly delete and remove everything to do with its AI friends. Moving on to more normal news, and distinctly less dystopian, Taiwanese market research company TrendForce reports that DRAM prices should be dropping. TrendForce tracks the trends of spot prices for things like DRAM and NAND, like flash for SSDs, and tracks spot prices. They've been pretty accurate historically. And the firm writes this, quote, "The DRAM market is expected to face downward pricing pressure in first quarter 25 as seasonal weakness aligns with sluggish consumer demand for products like smartphones," end quote. The firm also noted potential tariffs causing stockpiling as another potential reason. TrendForce reports that, quote, "Conventional DRAM prices are projected to drop by 8% to 13%, end quote. And they note that server DRAM is expected to drop 5 to 10%. The company elaborated on why PC DRAM prices and DDR4 in particular are expected to fall. Quote, "Sluggish consumer demand, increased DDR4 production from Chinese suppliers, and low-priced DRAM chips flooding the spot market will result in steeper DDR4 price declines compared to DDR5, end quote. TrendForce forecasts a 10 to 15% dip for DDR4 memory. The company even predicts DDR3 RAM prices will come down by 3 to 8%, which is impressive only because at this point you'd think it'd be pretty stable since it's a very small group of new devices that would need it. It's mostly maintaining. And up next, Half-Life shows half signs of Half-Life. On December 31st, Mike Shapiro, who's the voice actor behind Half-Life's G-Man, Barney Calhoun, and Otis Laurie, recently posted a cryptic video on Twitter, and the hashtags included hashtag Valve, Half-Life G-Man, and 2025. So, Half-Life 3 confirmed? In the video, Shapiro narrates in, at times, a G-Man kind of way. We'll just play it for you.
Another year already. Good to see and hear from so many of you. May the next quarter century deliver as many unexpected surprises as did the millennium's first. And again, time is fluid, like music. See you in the new year.
The video in question looks to be a panning close-up of this painting, which appears to be artwork for the song titled Best Lawn Dog, which Shapiro, who's also a singer, sings over. The lyrics for the song, which was released on December 16th, contains the lyrics, "Best dog in the world." What does it mean? Well, dog returns in Half-Life 3 confirmed, I guess. In more grounded info, Shapiro also tweeted the announcement of Half-Life Alyx back in 2019 with some similar hashtags. They included Valve, Half-Life, and G-Man. Valve also recently released a documentary looking back at the 20th anniversary of Half-Life 2, so maybe there's signs of life for another Half-Life thing in the future, whether that's an actual continuation of the sort of mainline series. Obviously, no one has any idea. But there's, as stated in the title, there's half signs of Half-Life. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. As always, subscribe for more. Next week's going to be really busy with the formal GPU announcements, probably AMD CPU stuff, but we'll see. Probably AMD GPU stuff. And, of course, the foregone conclusion that the 9070 is like almost 79% better than the 5070 just by name. So we'll be talking about all that. Check back for more. Probably have another news roundup for this week just because there was so much. And go to store.gamersnexus.net if you'd like to grab one of these shirts. Otherwise, we've got a lot coming to you, and we'll see you all next time.